Many students and adults struggle with subject-verb agreement. It is one of the most common sources of errors in student essays. However, in most cases, it's also surprisingly easy to fix. The subject is a noun or pronoun that usually comes before a verb and which the verb must match or agree with. Of course, there may be many nouns that precede the verb in a sentence, but the subject is the noun that performs the action described in the verb, or to which the verb has the strongest connection. Consider this sentence. First, locate the verb. In this case, the verb is live. To find the subject, use your skills in identifying noun phrases and main nouns. There is a 4-word noun phrase before live, most residents of Singapore. The noun phrase contains 2 nouns, but only one of these nouns can be the subject. In simple sentences like this one, the subject is almost always the main noun, in this case, residents. You can check if this makes sense by asking yourself who or what live in HDB flats. The most logical answer is obviously residents, and not Singapore. What makes subject-verb complicated, though, is that the verb changes form to agree with its subject. Consider these sentences. One of these verbs differs from the rest. It has an extra S at the end. The words he, she, and it are singular pronouns, and they is a plural pronoun. Now watch what happens when we replace these pronouns with nouns. The verb that matched the singular pronouns still matches the singular noun. The same is true when we replace the pronouns with names. The verb has an S at the end when it has a singular subject, but not when it has a plural subject. Thus we arrive at the most important rule of subject-verb agreement. When a subject is singular, its verb must have an S at the end in the present tense. What do I mean by the present tense? If we change all these verbs to the past, you'll notice that they are all identical. Similarly, if we are discussing the future, the verbs do not change. The sole exception to this rule is the verb to be. As you can see, in the past tense, a singular subject takes the verb was, while a plural subject takes were. The verbs be, have, and do behave more or less the same way. Don't forget to change them to is, has, and does if necessary. If these verbs are acting as helping verbs, you do not need to change the main verb as well. You should only change the helping verb to match the subject. Which version of this verb is correct? Although broaden is a verb, we do not need to worry about it because it is preceded by to, and therefore does not have a subject. Help or helps is the verb we are concerned about. What is the verb's subject? Again, ask yourself who or what helps to broaden your mind. Clearly the answer cannot be day. Your first instinct may be to say that the subject is newspapers, but remember that if a subject has only one verb, the subject is most likely the main noun of the preceding noun phrase. Don't forget about ing nouns, or gerunds. In this sentence, the main noun and the subject of the verb are reading. Therefore, since the subject is a singular noun, the verb must have an S at the end. See if you can correct this sentence. Check the verb is. Where is its subject? In this sentence and many others, the verb actually has more than one subject, buying and raising. Thus, the verb should be are, not is. You can usually spot multiple subjects by looking for the word and, or considering whether the subject is a list of multiple things. The following sentence illustrates an error that every student in CJC has probably made before. First, locate the verbs. Provides and encourage both need subjects. The subject of provides is clearly government, which is a singular noun, so provides is correct. The more confusing verb is encourage, which actually shares the same subject as provides. Who or what encourage individuals? The government does. Therefore, we need to add an S to encourage so that it will agree with its subject, government. Here is one final issue that teachers frequently see. In constructions such as there is and there are, the subject is not the word in front of the verb, i.e. there. Instead, the subject appears after the verb. Thus, in the sentence, there are numerous opportunities for entrepreneurship, the subject of the verb are is actually opportunities. In summary, remember that the most important rule of subject-verb agreement is that when a subject is singular, its verb must have an S at the end in the present tense. The subject is a noun or pronoun that usually comes before a verb, but may come after it when the sentence begins with there.